Right below that, where we have the additional areas, are service areas you want to add. I would recommend that you don't add a service area that's already in the office service area. You don't need to do that. It's not going to help you get more leads for that area. Like, for example, I've worked with agents that say they only work Harlingen, they won't work anything else, or they only work Mission. Used to have agents over there years ago that wouldn't drive outside of Mission. You can make all these Mission, you're not going to get any more leads. The system's going to read it as one. So if you don't want to work outside there, you don't put anything else in there, but I would recommend putting something in there. If you get a lead for an area you're not working with, you can probably share it with somebody in the office, right? So that works really well. And you're also limited. You can only have the five leads in there. Or, I mean, the 5 service areas. Everybody good there? Any questions on that one? All right, so up in the upper right-hand corner, what we'll do from here is we'll click on Return to the Max Center. And when we go back to the Max Center, that's at remax.net. At the very top here, you have choices. You can click on Apps, right? And that'll open up all the apps that are available. And there's a lot of those. You can go to the apps, and here's the website tool. I have that flagged as a favorite. That's why it's blue right there. So I can click on apps and go there, or just at the top, I can just go right there where it says website, because that's what we're focusing on today. That's what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on website, and it's going to take me right over to Booj. Either one of those will work the same way. It'll take me right over to Booj to where the website is so that we can work from there. All right. Now on mine, I have mine set up because I use it for training, so it's not set up the way it's supposed to be, right? I'll show you one that is here later on, or if Gabino's on here still at the time, maybe he can show you the one he has on here as well. This is what you're working with, and this is sort of a drop and click or drag and drop type website builder. It works really well for you to set things up the way you want to. One of the things with this that came out of R4 that I had never thought of was right here where it says mobile app branding. Mobile app branding is to go in here. So if I meet a buyer, let's say at HEB, for example, and they say they're looking for homes, I want to direct them on where to go do a search, right? And I can give them my website. That's what I've done for years. But today, what I could do is I could actually come in here and plug their phone number in and text them the Remax app that's branded to me. And one of the things they had at R4 was put your phone number in there, text it to yourself. So the next time you get it, because to do what I just said, you have to come in here, right? So if you put your number in there and you text it to you, you'll get it as an app so you can send it out from yourself a whole lot easier than having to go back into Booj every time you want to send that out. Does that make sense? So just go in here, plug your number in, and send it to yourself. And what that app does is it allows them to search properties and et cetera, but it's all branded to you. Has all your information on there. It's not like they're going to the brokerage website or some other website out there. Right? So that's the very first thing I wanted to cover. Make sure you have that one on there. So then we go into the website portion of this. When we take a look at the pages, the current layout, etc. I'm going to look at the pages so we can talk about those for a second. When you look at the pages, let me back up just a second here. So that took us to the dashboard, right? Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Can you remove that prompt in the middle of the page that says the meeting's being recorded so we can see the full page?
That's not showing on mine.
Just click on got it.
It says leave meeting or okay. All right, that was mine. Oh well.
That's all right. We're good. Thanks, Karina.
Hey, Mac, real quick.
Sure.
I sent that text. I got that from R4 also, the mobile app branding. I sent it. I use two phones, one for personal, one for business.
Right.
And I texted the my personal number. I added it on there. And your clients are going to get a message once you download the app and all that. It's a very simple process, but if you don't know, you need to like watch a little YouTube video or something, because there's a little thing there, a little trick. But the message that they're getting is begin your home search by downloading Gabino Ortiz's branded Remax app, and then it has the link. So it actually states your agent's name on there.
Yes.
So it's a pretty nice app. They've done a lot of work on it. It's pretty nice.
Thanks. Appreciate that. So when we, the reason I came back to this one is you notice that mine is unpublished and it says unable to publish. And the reason for that is, the primary reason for that is the Trek notice has to be in there. So to get your website published for Remax to allow it, if you'll click on website settings, it'll take you over, and what you have to upload is the information about brokerage services completely filled out. The other notice, consumer protection notice, is already on there. Remax has already done that. However, that consumer protection notice is also has changed, and is required to be displayed as of April the 1st. So we need to make sure that gets changed on here as well, but we'll take care of that. But you can't publish it until you upload the information about brokerage services, because it's a state requirement to have it on there. So you just click on settings and it'll take you there. Once again, we're at the website. This is actually called the dashboard. So we're actually going to go back in here and take a look at a couple other little things, and then we'll go to the pages. If we go to those website settings, this is where you get the opportunity to decide how you want things set up. And that's really important. Like for example, user options. So I have never been one of those where, I mean, I've had websites since 97, but I've never been one of those where I restricted the buyer's use. I get it. I understand how it works. Right. So on mine, I would have relaxed, but you also have restricted that you can plug in there. So after they view a listing, they're going to have, so if I mark restricted, for example, prompt unregistered user to register after viewing how many listings. Like I know one of the individuals in Mission, I think theirs was set at 1 listing. The last time I looked at theirs, which is good because then you capture their information, right? But I've just never been one to do that. Yes, ma'am.
Nina said she's waiting for you to let her in.
Yep. Got it. Thanks. So you can set that up whichever way you want. It's your choice. It's your website. And this is all about yours and making sure that it gets set up the way you want it to be. Down here where About Me features, featured listings, what do you want to show on your website? And again, you could have single family, you can have any of these show, whatever you want to show, right? The property types, what's your focus? And when we talk about featured listings, we're going to break that down a little bit more here in a second, but what type of listings do you want to show on your website? And then the status. And I would recommend just using for sale. I don't see a need unless somebody has something different. I don't see a need for under contract or pending. That generates usually calls that turn ugly because an individual is calling about a property and it's not available. Sort. I have mine sort from the newest. You can set it up whichever way you want. You can use the highest price, lowest price, whatever you want to do. Newest works usually the best. And then only show listings, and you have these options. And of course, I don't have anything marked there, but you have choices. It's yours. Here's one that's really important, in my opinion, and that's the additional listing display. So if you had a bunch of listings, you might have show my listings only. However, the whole idea of having a website is to generate leads, usually buyer leads. So in my case, I would use show my listings as well as listings from other sources and I use my office only, not my brand. So for example, South Padre Island doesn't have a problem with that because they're the only Remax there, I think. But in Mission or McAllen, there's another Remax. In Brownsville, there's another Remax. So if I put my brand, it would also show theirs. And I don't want to do that. I don't have anything against them, but it's about us. Right. So I just use my office. But again, that's your choice. Everybody okay? Then down at the bottom, this is where you upload the truck notice. When you click on it, you just upload the information about brokerage services. That's all it's going to require you to do. And all you need is that one. When I first started messing with this, I uploaded both. In fact, I still have them on there. Both the IEBS and the consumer protection notice, but the consumer protection notice is already there, like I said earlier. Any questions on this one? All right, so what we went to was the website and we clicked on settings. I want to go into the domain manager real quick. If you go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't catch the part where you can put in the IABS into the website setting.
Okay. So again, that's at website settings. It's at the very bottom. It's that little blue button down here in the bottom. When you click on it, you can upload from right there.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So let me go ahead and just ask for those of you that are on here as well. When I started, I went to get.realtor and recommended you get a domain name. You can get them from anywhere. Make that domain name yours. I like the get.realtor only because it has your name in it and it creates that URL just for you. If you have that, this tells you what needs to be done. And it's real easy. You can actually, if you have everything set up, you can click on add domain and you can go in here and do this. We've done that. I did that on my wife's website. If you have any questions, all you have to do is call them and they'll walk you through it. Right. So it's real easy to do. It's not as complicated as it looks. Although I called them myself just to make sure that I wasn't messing anything up because I didn't want to skip. I was taking it. I had a website that I was paying for. I was trying to move it before I deleted that one or canceled that one. And I didn't want to have any gaps in it. So the other thing on the domain, once again, if you have this website set up because of Remax, it's going to give you more juice on Google, which is what you're wanting, right? The other thing is if you're using Booj, which I would recommend, there's nothing in this world that's absolutely perfect, but Booj is doing really well today. If you're using Booj as a CRM, the website, so if a lead comes in, it automatically goes into your Booj automatically. If you have the website set up, like in my case, I don't have the website set up. So the referrals or the leads I get don't automatically feed into the Booj CRM portion. Anybody have any questions about that part? All right, so when we go to the pages, these are the pages and keep in mind, this is your site. So again, you can do whatever you want to with it, right? As long as you're legal, both on the Remax side and truck side, right? We want to make sure we have everything up to date. So these are, again, these are pages. So these are the pages you could have on your website if you wanted them, but you have to decide what you want out there. Right here where it says publish all or publish 17, you set it up the way you want it, to be. Oh, there we go. You can set it up the way you want it to set up. I'm going to click on one of these so you can take a look at it. So for example, here, if we go to preview, that's that block. That's all that is. It's just that block, right? Or that page, if you will. It's just that. And that was this first one. So if I click on edit, I get the same thing, except for on the left-hand side, I get the tools to do that edit. And if I wanted to add something to this, I could. But remember, you're building the entire website. So for example, I can go in here where it says full content or content full width. You can go in, you can adjust that. There's a pencil there, there's a trash can there, so you can make adjustments there. You can add a block if you wanted to. So when I click on add a block, and that's what they refer to them as blocks, right? So you could add these in here on this page if you wanted to. There's some things, if you go to add them, they may not look like they work the way they're supposed to. And I'll show you some places where you can get some tips and ideas on it as well. Like for example, if I wanted to add a text box to this one. So I can put whatever I want to in this text box. I can actually put a link in this text box if I wanted to. So if I had another site, a Google Calendar, if I had a document I was trying to show, a PDF document or something like that I had saved in Google or in Dropbox or something of that nature, I could actually put that in here as well and create that so that it shows up on that site. I'm going to click save here just so you can see it. And you see it down at the bottom now. That's a part of that site. And if we go to full view, you can see how I added that little block in here. So that's what the consumer would see if this was published. So you have so many options, because just take a look at the blocks that you can add to this. And whether it's this page or one of the other pages, you can do whatever you want to with it and set it up. There's testimonials. You can tie in testimonials. Google, if you have a Google business page, you can get a link so people can post testimonials, right? You could possibly tie something like that in here as well if you wanted to, if you work with it. I'll show you some other places where that comes up. All right. So what I clicked on was just this one, the About Remax portion of it. But again, you have others in here. Some of these are already set up. Here's one, it's buyer's guide, and Remax has already set this up. So if you preview it, it has the material there for you basically, right? It's the buyer's guide. You can see it's 1 of 5 slides for a buyer. So all you have to do is decide, do I want that block on my website or not? That's all. And it'll show buyer's guide. And you have 5 slides on what a buyer needs to do. So you can look at each one of these and see what it is you want to actually work with, and make a decision as to whether you want to add other things to it or just take it and keep it simple. Because this is pretty much ready to go just the way it is out of the box. So if I go over here to publish, for example, whoops, let me change this. If I was to go into publishing, if I had the information about brokerage services uploaded, I would be able to publish this. In fact, let me just going to upload something real quick. Must be in PDF form. Yeah. Anyway, if you upload it, try to get an IABS in there real quick. So now the system shows, and that's not an IABS, so I'll take it out later on. But the system shows that I have the IABS in there now, right? So now I can publish that website. So when I started out and I was talking about getting a domain name, you have a domain name through Remax, and that's it right there. But you may want to personalize it and make it your domain name. You don't have to do that. You can, right? And again, when I was talking about it this morning, I was talking about get.realtor, and that's working from that one so that you have something that is yours specifically. This one says mcfarland.remax.com, and that is a domain name. And you notice it says unpublished, so all I have to do is click on that and it'll publish it. So when you go to publish it, it would actually show the website as the whole thing with all the pages and etc. And we don't want to do that. All right, so there's also templates in here that you can use if you and that's basically what the pages amount to, kind of. But you can go in and add to these as well. Agent search layout is one of those where somebody have something. Oh. So you have the agent search layout just as an example, and you can go in and customize this or set it up whichever way you want to. The idea is for you to make it yours, right? And again, you could add blocks to this if that's something you wanted to do as well. All right. Any questions about that part? Ready? So on the navigation side, and that's what I clicked on, it's underneath the website, I clicked on navigation. This actually shows you the way it's laid out, right? So on the buy, you have the buyer's guide, you have the mobile app. On sell, you have the home value estimate, the seller's guide, and you can preview these or edit them from here even, right? It'll take you back over to the block so you can take a look at it. Your resources. One of the things you can do with this is, again, add links to it or a PDF to it as well. This is one of them that I had created because I like working with for sale by owners. I've done that in the past. I like for sale by owners to have a place to go. And years ago, as a prospecting agent, I had a book that I used to give out that was how to sell your home for the most money without paying a high commission. And my goal when I was playing with this was to actually upload that as a PDF and make that available if I was to publish the website. So you could have something like that. The seller's guide, if you had something there, you could upload it. What's it take to get a property sold? So let's take this one just for example, the seller's guide, and we're going to click in here. Here's sell, right? Here's seller's guide. We have it over here on this side. And we can, and by the way, you can move these around too if you wanted to and adjust those. But if I click on edit seller's guide, here's the block for it, right? Or the page for it. And here's the slides. So we have that. Here's all this information on the left-hand side, contact form, etc., where they can contact you. And you can go in and fix this. You can go in and change this. Let's say I wanted to, this one says contact me to learn more, right? And it has the form down here. And you might include something else on there. You might want to throw, I don't know, maybe a phone number, fill this out or complete this and hit send. You put something else in there if you wanted to, right? Not a big deal. It's up to you and the way you want to build it out. That's the key. So the other thing here is, what if I wanted to add a block and I want to go to video? And if you look on the left-hand side, they have the URL for the video. So I can go to YouTube, grab a video and throw it in here. Let me just do that just to show you as an example real quick, especially for those of you that haven't seen this. I can get it to come up real quick. Let's see. Come on. There you go. There is a next one. Anyway, there is a there you go. Like this guy has several videos in here on what to do. And let me just go back over here to his. He has 10 different videos in here, so you could actually take.
Step 6 in the home selling process
There you go.
is the renegotiation. So this
Stop.
is the point.
Stop. So you could actually, if you had a video on there, you could actually take that video and use that yourself, right? Create the video and then go to share. You can copy that link. Whoops. Copy that link here, for example, and then come back over to your Remax page. Here and put that URL in here. So it's your video that you're uploading, right? Seller, whatever that was, seller closing costs or whatever it was, right? And just hit save. And now you have a video, your video that on your website about what to do. So you could have a section, a page just for sellers with a little, 10, 15 second blurb on, or 2 or 3 minute blurb on what to do as a seller, or what to do as a buyer or something like that. It's not that hard to create them and then upload them on this. So I'm going to save this one just for the heck of it so you guys can see it. All right. Any questions there? And some of you are really good with doing videos. Let me go back to that page just for a second. Seller's guide. Oh, come on. There we go. And there's the video at the end of it. So when we're in the page, we could have actually moved that up on top if we wanted to, or change it around, or and there's so many things you can do with this, but you just need to do it, right? That's the biggest part of it. And once again, move that over here on the way. Once again, it's entirely up to you how you do it, or how much ever you put in it, what kind of focus you want to put into it. And then, of course, remember you have we have to stay within the rules of both Trek and Remax as far as that goes. But every one of these would be a page. You decide what you want to do with it and how you want to set it up. Any questions on those?
Mac, I have a quick
Sure.
question on videos. What would you recommend us use as a video to share? But I don't want to show once the video ends, there's like it shows like next video. It basically takes the user to YouTube, but I just want them to see my video and that's it. Maybe replay, but not send them somewhere else after my video ends.
It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that off the top, but that you're absolutely right, because I get that a lot, and I'm always.
Do you think? I'm sorry. Do you think Bomb might be able to do something like that, or maybe Vimeo or something like that?
there's probably a way to do it within Google. Because I mean, Google wants you to stay on YouTube, right? They want you to keep watching videos that are of the same subject material, basically, but there should be a way to make that work. Let me look into that, and I'll also show you guys some sites where you might be able to throw that out and see if you can get an answer to that. Because
Yeah, it
there's
might be a paid service.
and it may be, yeah, because I don't have any of those paid services, as you know that we've talked about that. There's tons of this. Everything I've shown you so far is free, with the exception of getting that domain name. And again, that I get nothing out of this one. I just think it's the coolest thing there is. I've shared in the past, when my wife started in the business, she wanted the company we were with, she wanted their email address. So it was Jane at ABC Realty, for example. And she wanted to use that. And when we moved from that company, that email gets shut down, right? Because the company owns it. And that's one of the reasons why this to me is really good, because it's yours, belongs to nobody else. And later on, if you decide to be a broker, you decide to do something different, you have that, or you can direct it somewhere else even. So it works really well. And then maybe even sell it. Like I said, we've done that with a few of them as well. All right. On the pages, once again, when you're in here to build that website, it all starts on the settings, if you will. So you go to the website, you go to the settings, which you talked about, the domain manager. We've touched base on that. If you're going to add reviews, again, you can do that by just you can actually even type your own reviews in here if you don't have anything. So if I send a letter out to past clients and say, hey, I'm trying to update my website with reviews from our experience, could you please write something for me real quick and give me permission to use that on my website, and maybe rate me between 1 and 5 stars. And then you can pick and choose. I would take that email, if they respond to that, I would take that email and put it in a file, so you have that as proof that they gave you permission, but then type it in here so that you have that, right? And whatever it was they said about you, and you put it in here, whatever it was, and just click add. And now you have that review on there, right? All of this is there for you to use, but it doesn't become, it's not on the website, or it's not published until you click on this little publish button over here on the right hand side. And again, that's not going to be there unless you upload information about brokerage services. And when you upload that, once again, make sure that it is complete. All right, I want to touch base on a couple other little things, and then I'm going to hopefully, yes, ma'am.
So I have a lot of reviews on Zillow. Can I just copy and paste them?
I would think so.
Because some websites don't let you do that.
Right.
I'm actually working on that right now, actually on my site. I haven't used Booj in a long time, and there's actually a block that says Zillow reviews. So my reviews are on Google, so I've been copying and pasting them onto my site, but there's actually a block that says Zillow reviews.
Which means what?
I guess it's a feed. So whenever somebody leaves a
Right.
review on Zillow, it appears on your
Yeah,
site.
you can link your Booj to, man, whose number's going, stay right there, quit that. You can link your Booj to or Zillow to Booj. You can link zip forms to it, you can link other things to Booj as well. That's in your settings when you first go in. When we're looking at settings here, we're talking about website settings. But when you go in here and set this up, you have the opportunity to link other things to this where you can use it. You should be able to use this entire system without going anywhere else. It'll link to zip form, it'll everything, if you'll set it up that way. But again, remember that your leads coming in off the website, if it's your website, they're going to go to you, right? So that's one of the reasons I want to make sure we get this out here. And that's one of the, working with new agents, this is yours. It's free. And again, you have a domain name. It's right there with the website. but I recommend you get a personal one. That's just from experience. And get this thing published, because again, you're going to get exposure. How many of you get leads from Remax on a regular basis? Norma? Anybody?
I do.
Hello, Mac. I get them twice. I get them from Remax and then I get them from Megaphone. So I
Right.
get duplicate leads.
That,
And you were saying that we can't remove markets from our profile or whatever, because and it says in there that you can't edit.
right.
So somehow I get leads from Corpus Christi and, which I'm not there,
Right.
and Brownsville and Harlingen, but I guess I can't, I just refer them, like you said, basically is the only thing you can do, right?
Right, because you're on there probably through their system, because it's a different, just like here, I'm on, I don't know if you can see that little box that I have open right there, but I'm on here as me and as Remax Elite, but that's the mission office.
I think NT, it's because you're listed as owner, so you pop up on our our company page on all of those.
Right, I know that. I mean, I figured that, but I don't know. I wanted to not, I don't want to get leads from Corpus, obviously, but there's no way to remove that, right? Because I'm an owner there.
There may be on the regional level, they may be able to go in and unclick that and take that off on the regional side. We can check on that.
I don't get that many, and I've just referred them to Corpus agents anyway. But I get rental leads and all kinds of stuff.
Right. Yeah, and I get, the reason I ask about the leads is I get leads myself, and I don't do anything with them. I do respond because we want to do that, right? But if you don't have your website set up, those leads come to you, and that's it. If you have your website set up, they'll come to you, and they'll also go in to your Booj account. So you'll have that here. They'll show up over here as well. See, like this one came from remax.com. Right. So you have that. They automatically go there. Yes.
I've got a few leads from through Booj, but not through like the Remax website, if that's what you're speaking about.
Right. So when it'll tell you on there where they came from, right? But when they come in, like if you get a text message, like I'll get a text message for a lead, and you click on it, it'll say it'll open up, and it actually opens up in Booj Mobile. So you can either accept or decline. If you accept it, it automatically populates into Booj. If it came from the website, your website, right? It'll go to you and it'll populate into your CRM. If it came from remax.com, it'll also go in there if you accept it. And that's, if you don't have Booj on your phone, I would highly recommend you do that. That it looks like a little flame, so you can actually see those as well. All right, so there's a couple of little things I want to touch base on this with you. One of those is this, and I probably will talk about this again on Tuesday when we have training, because this is something that just, if this is an agent out of mission, you guys can see her Facebook page, right? So this is just a practice. She posted pictures, and she's fairly new at this, so I understand this is what other people do, so she probably just copied that without putting any thought into it. She posted these pictures, which is great, but it doesn't do anything for us. It doesn't really do anything for her. So the idea would be to take that, pull this property up if she has it listed, pull it up on your website, your Booj website, for example, pull it up there, and then pull the property up and then link to this property. So that when we click on it, it'll take us to our website. Because when you click on this one, all you do is you see pictures, right? And you're trying to drive traffic to your website. Now I can get it. There we go. So just as an example, what I'm talking about here is you grab a property, any property. You grab that property and you take the URL up here, and I've shown this before. You grab that URL and then you come over here to your Facebook and do that post in here with that URL. It will drive traffic to your website for that specific property. And that's what we want to work on. Does that make sense? So just posting pictures doesn't do anything for us. There's a couple agents in McAllen that do that a lot, not in our office, but within McAllen MLS. And normally when I see just pictures, and that's why I keyed in on hers, I look to see if there's a link to their website someplace else, because usually what the ones in McAllen have done in the past is they'll post pictures of your listing on their Facebook without permission. Right? They'll use the photo you have posted in MLS on their social media to try to drive traffic to their website, which isn't cool. And then you just remove the URL that'll stay there, and that'll be their link, and you can put on there what you have going on with that property.
Mac, how do you do that again?
So you go to your
I understand how you copy the URL. That I understand.
okay.
But how did you get the listing onto Booj? I see my listings on there already. I don't know how it automatically does that.
So when you're setting up the website, that's back here in the blocks, if you will, the pages. When you're setting it up, you have a feed that comes over from MLS. That's in your settings. That feed should be on, and then we have we have an agent search or the listing layout. Those are all the boxes that are in here that you could use for that. Let's see. I think it's this one. No, that's just the search. There's your featured listing. So when you set it up, you decide. Actually, that's back in the settings. There you go. Back in the settings here, right here, and then right here is where that's at. What do you want to show up, Michelle? You see that?
Yes.
So that when you check that, that's what's going to show up on your Booj website. And when we went through this earlier, I mentioned the fact that I would probably use my office, not brand, because we have other Remax offices around, and I don't necessarily want to market their properties. And I don't necessarily want to market just mine, because there's more to the office and working together. And that's where that would come from. All right, so a couple of little things I wanted to share with you on this was within Facebook, there's a couple places where you can go to get help within Facebook that might be good for you. And I'll throw this one in there in the chat for you guys, so you have that. This is one of them I go to quite a bit. So this is Tech Tools, Remax Tech Tools, Tech and Tools. And they post tips and ideas on how to do things, is what they do. Or you can go in here and ask a question like the one Gabino was asking about. You can go in here and do that. There was one in here this morning about using the Google Calendar, which I think is something we need to do. I just hadn't seen it until this morning. Come on. There you go. Because this is the other one, the other Facebook group I follow quite a bit. And this is Creative, Share, and Inspire. And this one, so the first one, this one is more how to do things. And this is, let's do off the wall things. And there's all kinds of things in here, tips and ideas, things you can do. One of the things they had this morning in here was posting a calendar. So this isn't ours, this is somebody else's, but this is on their website. And I think this would be great for us on the company side. So you have all the office listings, you have all this stuff down here, and down at the very bottom is an office calendar. Now, before you add some of this stuff, make sure you check with somebody like preferred partners. I've tried to do that before, and I was told not to do that, but or that it wasn't recommended, something like that. But office calendar, I think, is awesome. And so you can't just post a link to Google. what you have to do is you have to put a text box in when we're building our website, put a text box in and then put the link inside that text box. That's how that works. And what happens is it'll open up to like this. So you have all the company's training in one spot. So that was an aha moment for me about 5 o'clock this morning. Because some of these tools have not been available, or there's workarounds, and that's what they call this one. It's a workaround that people can use. And then, whoops, what? Yeah, we have that. And then one of the things I wanted to do with this real quick is actually show. Let me get rid of this. And this. Close. All right. Gabino, can we use your website?
I'm still working on it, but go ahead.
Is
I'm
it-
actually, I've been working on it right now while on the meeting too.
Okay. Awesome. That's good. What's I forgot what the URL is on it.
GavinoOrtizRealtor.com.
And I was talking about you yesterday. You know that, right?
I got quite a few messages.
Yeah. So when you're looking at, again, it's a finished product kind of sort of, but you can adjust it the way you want to, right? You can make these, so he could have feature listings at the bottom if he wanted to and have the search on top. He has the search right here, let's go, which ties in with what his slogan is as well, right? There's his reviews, the stay connected. Now stay connected, if you don't have anything set up, let me just touch base on this one right quick. So here's we don't have our own tied into this one, but you notice Gavino does, so you have that, right? And there's systems where you can plug this in once and it goes everywhere. Like Megaphone is set up so that you can actually do one entry. My understanding was one entry for Facebook, and it'll also go to Instagram and Twitter, I think it was. There's 2 other places they mentioned that it'll automatically go to, but you have to go in and set that up in Megaphone. Right. And again, you can add whatever boxes you want to. He could have open houses on here if you wanted to do that, right? And have a box for open houses and pull that information over. There could be the PDF file for how to sell your home for the most money. There could be a link to videos that he's created because he's got some really good videos out there on YouTube. There could be links to those videos on how to buy a home in the Valley, or what's to look for in the Valley, or how to do inspections on your home once your offer is accepted. You know, there's all kinds of ideas you can do with that. And it all comes back to when you're trying to build out your website, use the pages that you need to use. And if those pages are not, there you go. If those pages are not the way you like them, change them. That's why it has edit. It's all yours, whatever you want to make out of it. That looks like a pretty good site, Gavino. Looks like a pretty good one.
You know, I was never that much into Booj, but they've come a long way from
They
when they
have.
first started. It's yeah, I'm planning on using it a lot more.
And for those of you in the class in this meeting this morning, I just threw in a Booj web customization. That's from 2020. So there's been things added to it from there, but it works as a real good checklist as you go down, because it'll show you what needs to be looked at on your website. And most of the stuff that's on there is available today. But I will tell you, one of the other things, I talked to a couple of the techs at R4, and anytime you go to make changes, anytime you go to make changes on social media or anything like that, There you go. Anytime you're gonna make changes on social media or anything like that, there's a dead space in there. There's time to get it, to make it work. And one of the things we talked about is Booj, RPR, zip form. They have all these high paying techs doing this, but when you change one thing, it may have an impact on 3 or 4 other things. And sometimes I know in Lone Wolf, that was one of my concerns when they first made that switch. They would come out with something really nice on zip form, and then all of a sudden something else isn't working. But and that's kind of what we had with Booj when they first started, but now it's working, everything's working really well. Are there some things that still need to be improved? Absolutely. When I was talking with one of the techs, one of the comments he made was, and I don't know whether it was coming, I think it was probably just him. One of the comments he made was, there's not as many agents using Booj as they thought they would be. I mean, it's a tool, it's there. I did share with him, I've been in another franchise, and it's the same thing. Agents will go pay somebody because they don't want to take the time to build it. So they'll go pay somebody to build a website, but that website's outside of the franchise, right? And I had that when I was with the franchise before, and you don't need to do that. Build it within, because again, just being Remax gives you extra juice in Google and will cause you to come up in searches. The site that I have on here right now, the reason I have it up here is because this lady actually does that. She actually builds out Booj sites and et cetera. And in Harlingen, one of the agents there actually used her site. How do you, give me in here, there we go. Used her to actually set up her website. And let me see, I don't remember what the price, there's the price range she has on there. And you can decide what you want to do with it. And I throw this out, not to endorse it, but if you don't have a website and you don't feel you have the time to do it, or you don't want to mess with it, I can help you with it. You know, obviously Gabino has the knowledge with it. There's others that have that knowledge, but time's going to be a factor in both of those cases, right? Yours and ours. Cody at the Harlingen office has some knowledge of it. He can work with it. But if you don't want to mess with any of that, you want to just go get it done and get it over with, this works. So you could do a very simple one and go from there, right? Which works. The hyper local content pages, you can create those yourself. Just by putting the blocks in there. You can take one of the text boxes and put a link in it for Harlingen, to Harlingen City, to the Harlingen Chamber of Commerce, or Port Isabel, wherever you're at, and put that in there. So you can create those yourself. You don't need somebody else to do that for you. But I show this to you because if you don't want to mess with it, there's an option. And I know from the agent in Harlingen, Sue-Ann Talbert is the one that used this one to get hers done, because she just didn't want to mess with it. All right, anybody have any questions? Comments? Nope. All right. Well, once again, the whole idea behind this is to get you to set up your website so that you're using it. And I started this, for those of you that were not here at the very beginning, I started this talking about getting a domain name, but also when we went into Remax, I addressed this box right here, and this is a mobile app branding, right? And so if I have a consumer that I'm talking to, I can send them, I plug their phone number in here and hit text, and it's going to text them the app. So they can, and it's customized, it's mine. But you can't do any of this until you get your website built out. It's not going to, I mean, you can, but it's not going to, probably not going to function the way it should until you have something on the website there. But you can text them that, and that'll keep them on your app, your page, everything for you, everything they look at, etc. And if you have it set up with, if you have the website published, then it'll tie with your contacts in the CRM portion of this. So you can manage those over here on this side. All right. Any other questions or comments? Anybody? Right. Well, I appreciate you guys being here this morning. And Hope you get something out of it you can use. I did record this.